Welcome back. There are a lot of ridiculous laws out there, right, Phil?
There
yeah,
are.
ridiculous. But if you're ever hurt in an accident, you can use several Colorado laws to your advantage and get the most money possible after you're hurt. Here to tell us how to make that happen is attorney Phil Harding from Harding and Associates, who is here to answer all of our legal questions every Friday. Now, Phil, last week we started talking about how personal injury, how you could get the most out of your
Recovery,
I'm
right?
sorry.
That's right.
After an accident, and you're going to be teaching this to lawyers.
Right, and it's highly confusing what goes on. And what I'm teaching lawyers, and I think it's so important for our viewers to see this as well. Last week we talked about two things, the Collateral Source Doctrine, and essentially what the Collateral Source Doctrine said is if you have health insurance, and that health insurance has paid for your medical bills, and we've all seen that. We looked at an example last week where someone went into the hospital and they were billed $30,000. And then from there, the health insurance says, we have a contracted rate with this hospital, and the amount that we're going to pay is $8,000. Now there's this huge reduction, but you only show the amount that's billed and not the amount that's paid. And let me tell you why this makes sense. Okay. You've been paying years and years and years of health care premiums, right? Monthly?
Yeah.
So the person that runs into you doesn't get to benefit because you've paid all these premiums. It's not like they're going back and saying, how many years did you pay for these premiums? Let's reimburse you. They don't get to do that. And they won't pay you, and so you don't have to show them the amount paid, only amount billed. And then we went on to this next thing. We didn't have enough time, and I think it's so important. It's called the Make Whole Law.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one. Please explain that.
All right, so the Make Whole Law is really important, and let me tell you what it is. 2 years ago, it was enacted, and here in Colorado, we said, if someone is not made whole when they are paid by an insurance company, they don't have to pay back the medical insurance. And remember, when you pay back the medical insurance, that's called subrogation, right?
There's that word again.
I know,
Phil.
it's
you
big
bring
words.
it in every week.
It's big words, but it's good for you to know, because if you're ever talking to someone and you drop these big words, they're going to think you're highly knowledgeable, and you are because you watch the show. But subrogation says you have to pay back what someone else pays for you. Now let's talk about the Make Whole Law. And I think
and I want to know what it means to be made whole.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us that.
All right. So let's talk about the Make Whole Law first. And essentially it says any provision in a contract, a policy, contract, or benefit plan, which is your health insurance, allowing or requiring reimbursements or subrogation in circumstances in which the injured party, you, that you have not been fully compensated is void against public policy.
Okay.
Let's break that down and let's look at this. All right, so let's say someone runs into you. Let's say here in Colorado, our state minimums are $25,000. The guy runs into you, the only insurance that they have is $25,000, and you go to the insurance company and you say, I'm going to make a policy limit demand, which means give us all of the policy, the whole $25,000. Now, if they pay you that $25,000, the law presumes that you are not made whole, and therefore you don't have to pay back on the subrogation. So let's just go over that real quick because it's so confusing. But what it boils down to is if you've been injured, if you are paid the full policy limits from the person who ran into you, it's presumed that you are not made whole, so you don't have to pay back to the subrogation. Now, subrogation is your health insurance, right? That has paid off on your behalf. Now, if you're not made whole, you have to pay back what the health insurance has paid out. It's confusing.
It is confusing. That's why I would just hire a lawyer.
Yes.
Because you will handle all of this, and I can't believe you have to explain this to students coming up here.
Well, and it's lawyers, so they've already gone through law school, they're practicing.
So they know what you're talking
about.
about.
You know, many attorneys do not know this, and so that's why I'm going over it. And now the viewers know not only about the Collateral Source Doctrine, remember, where you show the amount that is billed, not the amount paid, and the Make Whole Law. So now everyone out there is, because of watching here, is more knowledgeable than, say, 90% of the attorneys out there. So that's why it's important to watch this and watch this segment.
I'm feeling smarter already. I'm just going to start throwing out the word subrogation.
Yes.
In conversations and see what people say.
You're on the cell phone, you're talking to someone and say, you know, did you subrogate on that?
No, Phil, you always take people's questions. We want to remind people, you know, that they can go to the website Look for your glossy picture, your glossy 8x10 there on the screen. And they can just throw any question that they want. It might be on the show, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, you actually do read those.
Well, I read every single one. I get back to them. And just so everyone knows, I don't represent them on this. If they want representation, it's good to meet with an individual attorney and go over the specific facts of your case.
Yeah, you are just the brain on the show that gives us all of these big words to use, and we feel smarter. So if you would like to contact Phil at his office, Harding & Associates, the number's 303-762-9500, or you can catch them online at hlaw.org. Thanks, Phil. Happy Friday.
You too.
Coming up.